Now, to his friends, family and work colleagues, Cavan footballer Alan O'Mara was living the dream. Unfortunately, underneath the surface, this was a young man caught in a nightmare world from which he could see no way out. As part of our Time to Talk mental health campaign, I recently caught up with Alan as he discussed the difficulties he endured and how he wants people to know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Alan, thank you very much for joining me here this morning. First of all, I want to say fair play. I mean, it's a big deal. We were discussing this earlier on. You're the first young Irish sports player who's male to talk about the issue of mental health and your own experiences of it, and you've talked about it no holds barred, and it's had a huge impact on a lot of young Irish men in particular, and a positive impact. So thank you very much for doing that.
No problem at all.
And thanks for being part of our mental health series. I want to take you back to a time before the depression really kicked in for you, a time when you should have been flying. You were doing great sports-wise, loads of great friends, life was good, everything was wonderful, and then everything started to slowly fall away. So what happened? Take us back to those high points when everything was great.
Yeah, I suppose in 2011 I was playing my last year under 21 football with Cavan, and as it turned out, we had a great year. We won an Ulster title. It was the first Cavan team to win an Ulster title at that age group since '96. They hadn't won anything since '97, and it was just a really, really good time and a good team to be on. It was a lot of good memories from it, and got to go on this roller coaster, and it just kept going up, and we get to an All-Ireland under 21 final, and it was May the 1st, and it's Cavan being the county that it is, they absolutely go crazy for footballers. Just I've never seen any other place like it. They just go insane. But so the under 21 final, it moved to Croke Park. Those games normally aren't in Croke Park, but I presume it's because the crowd that was going to come to follow us that we go to Croke Park. So you just sort of felt like all these pieces were coming together, and this is going to be your dream ending. And unfortunately, the day it was far from a dream. It was a bit of a nightmare. It just didn't happen for us, and a couple just didn't really perform. And so that was sort of a sudden crash down straight away after all this slow rise up through it. But
after it, everything started to kind of unravel after that, slowly but surely. Can you explain to me how you started to feel?
Yeah, I suppose in the following months I just sort of started to feel a bit lost. Like there's one picture, newspapers tend to use it whenever I'm in a newspaper for anything, but it's me sitting on the pitch at Croke Park immediately after that under 21 final, and I just look a broken man. Every time I look at it, I just think, look at me, and that's really, I think that just is a signal of the way I went. I just really was sat slumped on the ground, just sort of staring into space, going, what's going on? And in the following months, I said I really just started to lose the run of myself. I just sort of lost sense and satisfaction. I stopped enjoying football. And you started, I read about this when you wrote that brilliant piece for The Independent. You started hearing two voices. There was Alan, the normal inner monologue that we all have, and then there was another voice. You describe it like Schmeagol and Gollum almost, which was really interesting to me. Yeah, that's something that I sort of resonated with. Just over time, this voice just started becoming more, just becoming louder. I just used to sort of hear it. I know it sounds silly, but in the back of on my left shoulder.
Yeah, like physically you would hear.
Yeah, and I felt
and what would the voice say?
I would just have internal conversations. Like it wasn't like a little voice whispering evil things, but I was sort of having it was internal conversations. I was debating with myself, arguing with myself all the time. And
about what?
Trying to get out of bed.
Really?
You'd be telling yourself to get up and go, and the other voice would be telling you, what's the point? Why would you bother? Stay here.
And were you questioning like your own self-worth?
Yeah, it's questioning. You're just questioning your existence. You're sort of asking yourself, why am I here? What's the point of me being here? Am I just meant to play football, or I just felt like I wasn't doing anything worthwhile.
So you were kind of isolating yourself, really?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was living in a house with five of my best mates, and even my bedroom became known as the back cave. I was in the converted attic, and it was a joke. I made the joke too. You'd laugh about it sometimes, but my room was called the back cave. I was spending that much time up there.
Did any of your mates say to you, you're spending a lot of time in the old back cave there, Alan?
They did.
Were they concerned about you?
I'm sure they were. I remember.
Or were you hiding it that well that they didn't guess what was going on?
A bit of both, but I remember one of my friends come up and sat on the end of my bed, and he'd be sort of are you going to get up today? No.
And all this time, Alan, this second voice that you talk about coming from your left shoulder, that's growing and becoming more active.
Yeah, it was getting worse and worse. When your sleep cycle gets knocked, that sort of that'll affect it even more, because you're lying there looking at a roof, and you might be like my room. I could look out and I could see the stars up in the sky, and you're just lying there, and you're just like, you're just, like I said, you're questioning your existence. Why am I here? Is this what my life is all about? Or is this what I'm going to do? And this voice is building in your head, and it just that kept snowballing and snowballing up until Christmas with me, and until the day where I was driving home, and
Tell me about that, because this is probably your, maybe I'm saying this, but maybe one of your darkest moments.
It is the darkest moment, yeah.
So do you mind if we talk about that a bit in detail? Yeah. So where were you driving home from?
The night before, I was leaving Cavan to come up to Dublin we were training with the college team for the Sigerson Cup, and I just remember sitting there. I was just sitting on our couch was right in front of the fireplace. The fire was lit. It was Christmas, and I was just looking at it, going, I do not want to go here, and just staring into it, and you're just sort of, this happened for 15-20 minutes. I was like, will I go, will I not? And you're starting to feel bad in yourself, because I said that good voice is telling me, will you get up off your arse and go to football, excuse me, and the other fella's like, why would you bother? I'll just stay here, like. And eventually forced myself to get up. I remember turning around, I could see like my bum print still in the couch, like it was in the couch, and I was just thinking, will I just sit back down? So I go, pack the bag, get into the car, and I drive up, and I get there. We trained that night, and I'm looking around. We're on this pitch, it's barely lit. We're on the second pitch, because the pitch wasn't that bad of a nick, so the lights from the first pitch are shining across this pitch we're on. And so that night I go and I stay in one of the lads' house. He'd be a really good friend with me from the Cavan team, and I said, I'm staying in the bedroom in that house, and I get to bed and take a sleeping tablet. Nah, no sleep. So I'm lying there in a strange room. It's not my bed. I have a book, and I'm reading that. It's Kenny Egan's book, and obviously just some stuff in there that starts planting some seeds in my head. And time goes by, I'm just lying there, flat on my back, looking up the roof, and then hear a knock on the door. It's like, you awake? You getting up? And I was like, oh yeah, I'll be up in a minute, like, he hadn't a clue. He just thought I was sound asleep. So I get up, and I head to this match then, and I don't even remember much of the game, like. So I was getting into the car to drive home to Cavan then, and head out to the M3, going through it, and just my head's just spinning at 100 miles an hour, and I'm just like, what's going on? I'm thinking about, I'm after just more or less I had tears in my eyes at a football game. I'm trying to go, what's happening to me here? Driving along the motorway, and I just start thinking, the image of me just swerving the car into the wall just pops into my head. There's just one, where there's a slip road off, and where there's sort of a barrier there where it breaks up the junction. Yeah. I just see the car slam straight into that, like. And whoa, gee, what's going on here? And then drive off another couple of minutes, still sort of have this image in my head. And then, thankfully for me,
but were you thinking, when you were seeing that image, were you thinking, that's the way out?
Yeah, it was just like,
you were actually thinking of ending it all.
That was a way to stop this conversation that was happening in my head at the time.
What made you not do it, Alan?
Thankfully for me, within about 2 seconds after that, I saw my own mum and dad standing in our local church at my funeral. And that just zapped me straight back in. So it's just like, what's going on here? Put down the window. More or less, I'm hanging my head out the window like a dog and letting the fresh air hit my face. Just feel that air, like just to feel it. And
is that how close you came to ending your life?
I don't know. Like I don't think I would have swerved the car, but you're sitting there seeing yourself, like, and you just know straight away, like, this is not normal. Like I don't think I ever would have crashed the car, but I got into that point where I was just,
you're having those thoughts.
It was in my consciousness, and I was thinking, I could see myself doing it, and I was just, but thankfully I saw Mum and Dad straight away standing in the church, and Mum was crying in the church, like, and this is just in my head. I'm awake, and it's not as if I'm dreaming or I'm asleep, and that just zapped me out. That's just zapped that other thought away, and that's when I get home then that day. And I sort of, yourself, like, I get in, of the hood up, I'm sort of just, oh Jesus. And then I still lying back with my head just flat on the couch, and Mum comes over and she stands over me then from behind the couch, and she's sort of just looking at me. She's like, are you feeling a bit depressed or anything? And that's when I just sort of, like, my head just starts going 100 miles an hour. I'm just thinking, what do I say here? Like,
what did you say?
I went quiet for a second, like, and I could just sort of feel tears coming up again. I'm thinking, like, will I say no? Like, will I just tell her I'm grand? That's the normal reaction. You tell them, no, I'm okay, I'm fine. And then, like, I remember just looking down at my own body, like, and I was thinking, like, look at the state of me, like, I'm all over the place here. And eventually I just sort of coughed up the word, yeah. Like, it wasn't a huge ball of tears and, hugs and kisses, but it was just, I said yeah, and that immediately sort of just went, oh. In a week or two before that, I got just a random email from the GPA, which is the Gaelic Players Association, and they'd emailed all the members just to say, look, there's a counselling service available. If it was in the build up to Christmas, so like lads that are a bit older might have pressures with money, with kids, whatever, and they just sent out this email as a reminder, look, there's a counselling service there, and that sort of planted the initial thought in my head. And like the first day I saw it, I thought about ringing it the next day, and like I was in my house in Dublin, number typed out, sitting on my bed, and legs just start shaking. I was like, will I ring this or will I not?
Why were you worried about ringing it?
It's just, I didn't know who was going to answer the phone. I didn't know.
Were you worried about people finding out it was you? Man
or woman, like what am I going to tell them? Like I didn't even know what I was like. I feel a bit crap. Like, you know what I mean? You just sort of, you're going to ask you who you are. It's like, yes, I'm Alan O'Meara. I play for Cavan. I'm going to, like, so you just sort of like, oh no, good luck. I'm not doing that. The GPA, the way they have it structured, they'll have a counsellor in different regions. There's a counsellor assigned to different regions. So he asked me where I was, and I said in Dublin. And he said, that's fine, we've 2 counters in Dublin, obviously just due to the volume of players that will be in Dublin. So I said, yeah, I'm in, or you said, where are you living? And I said, Drumcondra. And he says, we've one of our counters is based in Drumcondra, that's great. And I said, oh, that's super. I said, where is it? And he says, do you know Anderson's Crappery there in Drumcondra? And I said, yeah, I do, yeah. I said, I live 500 yards up from it. And he goes, yeah, we're on the end of that road.
No way.
So, I mean, if ever there was a sign for me to get up out of bed and go down to some counselling, like I could walk out my front door and kick a football and it would land in the back garden in this place. So, I mean, if ever there was a sign for me to get up, you couldn't make it up. Like.
To end, I'd like you to, right now, talk to other young men in Ireland, and women as well, but particularly young guys, and give them advice. If they're feeling the way you were feeling, what should they do, Alan?
It's just, I think the first step is just to talk to someone. Like, I mean, I know it's easy for me. I'm saying it now, but like I didn't talk to someone for so long.
But you did in the end.
That's just the first step, and someone out there will point you in the right direction. Like it just, you can sit in bed all day and you can open it up or you can bottle it up and you can have the pillow over your head. But I mean, like, it's not going to go away by itself. Like, you have to open up at some stage eventually. Like, I mean, like, the statistics don't lie. Like, I think it's 500 people commit suicide in Ireland every year, and that's 500 people on record. Like, if I had done it, mine probably would have went down as a car crash. That's what I saw in my head. So that's my example. If football's a big help to me, like, obviously, like, I broke my arm in the middle of the year, and straight away that sort of made me feel like this is the worst thing in the world. But I've been there before, and you have a think about it, and so I just kept training. Even with the cast on my arm, I kept training all the time.
Is that second voice gone on your behind your left shoulder?
It pops in every now and again.
But you're in control now.
Yeah, like I know what the story is. I know what it is. That's what you can sit there and wonder, going, what's going on here, and why is this happening? But like, when it does come back in, the odd time a suicidal thought might pop into your head. Just like, it could be in and gone out in a second, and you'll just like, dismiss it. Yeah, ignore it. Like, and I said, no, I'm in a good place now. Like, I'm in a job I love in Croke Park. I got back playing with Cavan. I broke my arm, but I got back in the team. Like, we got to an All-Ireland quarter-final, which is progress from Cavan's point of view. Like, I mean, so you got to run out in Croke Park 2 weeks in a row. So it's obviously sort of those 2 weekends. I just sort of felt like I'd come from full cycle from that original, the Under 21 All-Ireland final and the breakdown, to just coming back up to where I was and where I want to be.
Well, Alan, listen, I can't thank you enough. You've been so honest and so brave, and I know you don't think it's a big deal, but it is a big deal. There will be an awful lot of people whose lives might even be saved by you doing this interview, so thank you so much on behalf of everyone in Ireland AM. He, a remarkable young man. I said to him, we actually spoke for about 5 times as long as we did there, but I wanted to send him out into Ireland and speak to Irish men at large about how to be open about your emotions. An incredible guy altogether. So huge thanks to Alan for being so honest there. And a big thank you to the Louis Fitz Hotel as well, Louis Fitzgerald Hotel. They allowed us to do the interview there. So Alan, thank you very much. And throughout the week on Ireland AM, every day we're going to have a celebrity who'll be talking about their experience of mental health. And the whole week, of course, on Ireland AM is devoted to our mental health campaign, Time to Talk. After the break, we're going to be looking at some fashion with Celia Holman-Lee. See you then.